Yeah.
One quiet summer day, in the old family house located on the outskirts of town, Lisa decided to spend her vacation exploring the abandoned house she inherited from her grandmother. The large house carried the memories of her family, and its ancient walls hid secrets known to no one. Lisa, a young woman in her early 20s, possessed striking beauty. Her long golden hair flowed lightly over her shoulders, and her wide blue eyes sparkled with vitality. Her soft features, small nose, and full lips gave her a natural beauty that was hard to ignore. One day, while wandering through the attic that had once been used as the family's storage room, Lisa felt an overwhelming curiosity driving her to explore more. The attic was filled with old, dust-covered boxes, and the scent of age filled the air. As she moved between the boxes, she discovered an old wooden chest she had never seen before. The chest was adorned with ancient engravings, and it appeared to have been hidden there for decades. When she carefully opened it, she found inside a very old doll, made of wood and fabric, covered in a thick layer of dust. The doll had a finely carved wooden face, but its features were somewhat distorted, giving it an eerie and unsettling appearance. Despite this, Lisa felt a strange attraction toward the doll, as if something within it was calling her to keep it. Lisa took the doll to her room, ignoring the strange feeling that came over her as she carried it. She placed it on a shelf next to her bed and returned to her daily life. But something was slowly changing. Lisa began to sense an unnatural presence in the house. In the nights that followed, she started hearing faint noises coming from the attic, and mysterious whispers crept into her ears as she tried to sleep. One night, Lisa suddenly woke up. She felt a coldness surrounding her, even though the windows were closed. When she looked at the shelf where she had placed the doll, she was shocked to find that the doll had moved. It was tilted slightly toward the edge of the shelf, as if it was about to fall. Lisa's heart was racing, but she tried to convince herself that maybe she hadn't placed the doll properly in the first place. But the next night, the same thing happened again. This time, the doll had moved to a different spot in the room, far from the shelf. Lisa felt a wave of panic. She realized that something unnatural was happening. She started seeing the doll in strange places around the house, as if it was moving on its own. At first, she tried to ignore it, but the strange occurrences only grew worse. The next day, Lisa decided to research the history of the doll. She went to the town library and began searching through old books for any references to ancient dolls or curses. After hours of searching, she found an old book that spoke of cursed dolls used in ancient magical rituals. According to the book, cursed dolls were used to store the souls of people who had died under mysterious circumstances. As Lisa read more about these legends, she discovered that the doll she found might have belonged to a girl named Amelia, who died in a horrific accident hundreds of years ago. According to the legend, Amelia's spirit could be trapped inside the doll, seeking revenge on those who possess it. Lisa returned home, deeply terrified. She knew now that this doll was not just an old toy, it carried something evil within it. She tried to get rid of it, but no matter how far she threw it away, she would find it back in her room, as if the doll was following her. On one stormy night, Lisa was jolted awake by the sound of muffled screaming coming from the attic. Trembling with fear, she decided to check it out. She climbed to the attic, her heart racing. When she opened the attic door, she saw the doll sitting in the middle of the room, its glassy eyes gleaming in the darkness. At that moment, Lisa felt a cold hand touch her shoulder, but when she turned around, no one was there. Lisa realized that the curse was real and that there was no escape from it. Fear grew in her heart with each passing moment, and she knew she had to find a solution before the doll took over her life completely. She decided to contact a paranormal investigator and asked for his help in breaking the curse. When the investigator arrived, Lisa began recounting everything that had happened. The man appeared concerned as he carefully examined the doll. He informed her that the curse might be linked to Amelia's burial site, and she needed to find the girl's grave to free her spirit. Lisa and the investigator began their quest to find Amelia's grave. After days of arduous searching through old records, they discovered that the girl had been buried in an old cemetery outside of town. The cemetery was abandoned, filled with tall weeds and decaying tombstones. Here's the translation. On a dark night, Lisa and the researcher headed to the cemetery. The winds were howling fiercely, and the sky was overcast with clouds. When they arrived at the cemetery, Lisa felt a deep terror creeping into her heart. She knew that this moment would be crucial in confronting the curse. On a dark night, Lisa and the researcher headed to the cemetery. The winds were howling fiercely, and the sky was overcast with clouds. When they arrived at the cemetery, Lisa felt a deep terror creeping into her heart. She knew that this moment would be crucial in confronting the curse. The following moments were nightmarish as the vengeful spirit tried to attack. But thanks to the researchers' incantations, the spirit began to slowly fade away. In the end, Amelia's spirit was freed, and the doll fell to the ground, broken. Lisa breathed a sigh of relief, feeling that the curse had finally come to an end. She returned to her home, but she was no longer the same person. That experience changed her forever, making her realize that some secrets should remain buried.